What do you got, John Morgan?
Dana, it started out a little bit slow tonight. It ended up being fantastic, but it started out a little slow. Were you a little worried at all? I mean, we've had so many great nights. Were you thinking, oh, geez, we're going to have a bad night?
I never get worried. Listen, it is what it is. If guys want to come in, they want to get the contract, they go. If they don't, then they don't. We get to see whatever they're bringing. So, there's some guys here tonight. I mean, you were there. You heard the one kid said, he screamed out, "You pussy, let's fight." You know what I mean? Nobody wants to see this shit. Don't lay on me. Then he walked by me and, gave me a laundry list of excuses on why he didn't finish that fight. Do you guys have headphones over there?
No, but we had audio in here.
You could hear Bisping?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you heard Bisping called that fight perfectly. Bisping was dead on with everything he said with that fight.
He kind of chastised the guys for getting into it after the fight. Like
now you want to fight. Yeah.
I was going to say, did that bother you? I mean, what is that when you see that in somebody?
I just think there's a lot of emotion in there with these kids. There's a lot of emotion, and Bisping was right. The other kid wanted to fight, but he couldn't stop the takedown. If you can't stop the takedown here, you're in big trouble in the UFC. Yeah. So that's just. I'm sure when these guys leave, they take it personally, and I'm sure feelings get hurt and things like that. But that's all part of the process. They know now what they need to work on. They know what it's going to take to get into the UFC. And I think deep down inside, they both know they're not ready.
Right. Danielle Wolf, how tough was that decision, right? Because you could clearly see the skill that she has, but you could clearly see she's raw as well, right? And there's no place to hide in the UFC. So how tough was that?
Normally, somebody who was 0-0 and had a tough performance like this, she fought a girl that was 5-0 though, and was undefeated. And Danielle hurt her a few times and had her, running backwards and doing putting her head down, things you don't do unless you're getting hit really hard. So I'm gonna give her a shot. I mean, she's got like 43 professional fights. It's not like she can't fight. It's not like she's never been there before. The internet's going crazy saying she lost the fight, and we give her a shot. We'll give her. Listen, I've given people with much less skill shots, so I think she deserves a shot.
Nice.
Oh, sorry.
with Naimov and England, that might have been the best fight in Contender Series history. Any thought at all of finally giving a loser contract and giving Naimov a deal?
Yeah, first of all, so much respect for both of those guys. See, that's when guys show up and fight like that, they want the contract. They want the deal. Both guys were really well-rounded. Both guys, showed nothing but determination, the will to win, and that's all the shit that I love on a Tuesday night. So I told Muhammad what I would really like to, first of all, I'm making sure that the medical staff double, triple checks him. That was a nasty fight. I thought that could have been stopped, in the third round. And then I told him, if anybody falls out, you're going to be the first phone call we make. So
very nice. Couple outside of tonight, I want to ask you spoke with the president over the weekend. I'm really curious how you got Colby Covington and Ali Abdelaziz into a group photo. What was that atmosphere like? Were there Secret Service? What was that like?
Nah, everybody was cool. Everybody was there to meet him and be a part of the rally that went on. But yeah, no
Colby antics?
No, everybody was cool.
There was a story that came out today about Daniel Cormier that he actually had COVID in a couple weeks before the fight with the trilogy fight with Miocic. We never heard about that. Were you aware of that? How close were we to not having that fight?
Yeah, I knew, but he had already seen the doctors, and the doctor said he's going to be fine. Cruised right through it. Not a problem at all.
Okay, so you were never worried, really?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I wasn't worried. Yeah, when you find out he had COVID, yeah, I was worried, but the doctor said he's 100% healthy. He's fine. He'll get through this, and he'll be able to continue to train.
Have you talked to Stipe yet about when he wants to come back and maybe when the Ngannou fight would happen?
No.
And last thing for me, speaking of COVID, we had some reports today that haven't been confirmed that Maheta Thiago Santos got tested positive. That fight with Glover Teixeira is either in jeopardy, canceled. Can you update us on that?
Yeah, it's the fight's out. Yeah.
Will you find somebody new for Glover or try to rebook it again?
I don't know what we're going to do yet. We haven't really got there yet.
Fair. Thank you.
So, Dana, with Michael Lombardo today, He came back afterward and said, "Oh, look, it wasn't the best performance, but I got the win, and that's what matters." Surely, at this point, people need to know that with this show, that's not the case, right? They need to. It's the performance, not the victory.
Yeah, listen, every win matters. He's not wrong there. Every win matters, and for his record, it mattered tonight. But if you're trying to get the UFC contract, just laying up against the fence and squeaking out a win doesn't work. There were a couple positions there where he could have gone for mount. He could have done a lot of things to try to finish the fight. He played it safe and he won. And he knows that. No matter what he says.
With Danielle Wolf, what do you do with her next, right? Because obviously she did show great striking skill, but there's clearly a lot of areas she has to work on to succeed in the UFC. Do you tell her, right, take 6 to 10 months off, work on your game, and then we'll bring you in for a fight? Or do you try and find opponents who are similarly skilled?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we're going to handle that yet, but yeah, she obviously needs to work. Listen, the girl tried to take her down a bunch of times and couldn't take her down. She defended the takedown well. She stood up. She got caught with a bunch of punches in the second round and got through that. I had it 1-1 going into the last round. I don't know how you guys had it scored, but I had it 1-1 going into the last round, and I gave Danielle the last round. But I don't know. We'll see. Listen, our 45-pound division isn't some deep division as it is. So, she wants to be in the UFC. She's always wanted to be in the UFC. She fought her way into the UFC tonight, and it's up to her whether she stays here or not.
And one of the more obscure pre-fight facts is that she hits as hard as Dustin Poirier, apparently.
Huh.
So that's what they said on the broadcast.
I don't know that.
And also jumps for the guillotine as well when she had an opportunity.
Yeah, she did have a guillotine tonight too. She couldn't finish it, but she had it.
Yeah. Speaking of
and you guys got to understand too. I don't know when the last time she fought is. It's been a minute, and this is her first MMA fight. Whole world's watching. Tons of pressure on her. All those things factor in too. She got her first one under her belt. Now she's got to get her first UFC fight and win under her belt. Like I said, that's all up to her. She needs to prepare herself and get ready, and we'll see what happens.
Speaking of Dustin Poirier, earlier this week, Tony Ferguson put out a tweet saying, "Oh, Dana, pay the guy. I want to fight Dustin." Right. Has there been any more talks on that?
No, I told you we got to fight.
Has Tony accepted the fight? Yeah.
Not yet. No, he will though. I don't see Tony not accepting a fight.
And what was the issue with Dustin? Just negotiations, money, and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like Dustin. I'm not going to sit up here and say anything negative about Dustin. He's a great kid. I don't know if it was he didn't want to fight in Abu Dhabi or what his deal was. He didn't want to fight. If you don't want, there's a lot of different ways to turn down a fight. Negotiating yourself out of one is one of the ways you can do it. So for whatever reason, he didn't want to take this fight. Only he knows that.
And last one from me. It's more of a general question about the sport at the moment. Have you felt, with every week there's like a fight falls out, you have to rebook a new guy and stuff like that. Have you noticed that sort of short-term promotion works just as well as long-term promotion these days? Like with Masvidal, when he stepped in on 6 days' notice,
that was a whole different ball game. I mean, all eyes were on us because we were going to Fight Island, and Fight Island was like the most talked about thing on the planet, not just in the United States, but everywhere. Everybody was talking about it. So we were in a very unique position where, you switch out somebody and you put somebody like Masvidal in, it's big news. There was no football, baseball, basketball, nobody else was going. Just a couple European sports, you know what I mean? So it was a very unique position to be in.
But so in general, you haven't noticed a difference in that, like, you could change a main event a week of and still succeed very well?
Our business is on fire right now, I know that a lot of people are going through hard times and a lot of different businesses and stuff like that. So I hate to, be that guy. But yeah, we're doing good.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Good. Yeah.
If you could just touch, then switch gears, that while MMA is on fire, there's a dumpster fire going on across the street. You got De La Hoya coming back, Tyson and Jones fighting. How is it that boxing is just falling apart when MMA is thriving? You can't even piggyback off of your success, maybe?
I don't know. That's a tough question to answer. I mean, I could give you 1,000 reasons why boxing is in trouble. I've been saying it for 20 years. And now we're getting to the point where it's, it's really bad. It's in big trouble. And the number one reason is because these promoters that have been, doing this for 30, 40 years never invested money back into every boxing match that goes on is a going out of business sale. Let's get as much money as we can from these people and get the fuck out of town. That's a boxing match. And that's just not how you run a business. That's not how you build a sport, and it's not how you create longevity in your sport. If you look at things from the headquarters to the PI to the Apex to what we're doing in China and all these other places around the world, those are all investments in the sport. So we invest in the sport. The Contender Series is an investment in the athletes. I mean, these people come in, the Ultimate Fighter, the Contender, kids come off this show. I was just in the war room today. Yusuf's first fight, when he fought on the Contender Series, is up to 6.6 million viewers. 6.6 million people saw his first fight in the Contender Series. O'Malley is at 5-point-something million. List goes on and on. The lowest number from the first season of the Contender Series is like 797,000 viewers. These are these kids' first fight before they're ever in the UFC. I say their first fight, meaning before the UFC. But that many people watch you fight for your first fight ever before you're even in the UFC? It's big for these kids.